Alright Nintendo, I have had enough. If we don't get Pikmin 4 soon, then I will huff, I will puff, and... Oh, we already have Pikmin 4. Well, the Pikmin community has basically built its identity off of really wanting Pikmin 4, and now we have it. And up next is Pikmin 5, which even saying the name Pikmin 5 feels weird, and even weirder is that it probably won't be that long of a wait to get it. It just doesn't feel right, not in a bad way, it just feels very unnatural. I'm not even excited for Pikmin 5, and it's not because I think it'll be bad or anything, I think it's just because my brain is melted from the Pikmin 4 waste, that I don't think I even fully recognize Pikmin 5 as a tangible thing. Well, it is a tangible thing, and I'm going to discuss predictions for the game. This isn't going to be what I want to see in Pikmin 5, this is going to be what will probably be in Pikmin 5. And we'll also be going over stuff that won't relate to gameplay, like release schedules and controllers. I'll probably do a separate video of what I want and don't want in Pikmin 5, so look forward to that. Do remember that these are just educated guesses, not objective concrete facts that I stole from Nintendo's office. Don't take my word as gospel. Anyways, before we begin, make sure to subscribe for high quality Pikmin videos weekly. Well, first things first is if Pikmin 5 is even gonna happen. Yes. And will it also release quickly? Enough? Yes. Pikmin 5 has already been confirmed in an interview with the game's director, where he said he tried to not let people wait that long. Now, despite Nintendo's great track record of never talking out of their ass in an interview ever, I feel like there is some truth to this, and they do intend to release Pikmin 5 in a timely manner. Pikmin 4 did have its 10-year-long wait, but through those later years, they did seem to be laying out the franchise so that the notorious gap would not happen again. Shiggy Miggy and his goons over at Nintendo aren't buffoons. They know if they released Pikmin 4 on the Wii U or unceremoniously dumped it on the Switch early on, it would sell like hotcakes that had been filled with shit. So they altered their plan, steadily building up the franchise throughout the Switch's lifespan and then releasing Pikmin 4, and this greatly paid off. Pikmin has been selling better than it ever has, especially in Japan where merchandise is everywhere. Nintendo is still keeping the Pikmin ball rolling, doing odd promotions like buying out buses and billboards despite there being no upcoming releases, and this is solely being done to make Pikmin stick, and it's working. At this point they are hardly gonna go, "Oh, fuck this shit," and delay the game like Pikmin 3 or 4 because that'd just kill all the brand recognition they built up for the past while. They're doing all of this for a reason and it's working, so no, Pikmin 5 won't take an excruciating long amount of time to come out. They've been specifically building up the franchise, so something like this will not happen. I'd say Pikmin 5 will release in either 2026 or 2027, and at the very latest, 2028, which is pretty unlikely in my opinion. Now there is one issue with Pikmin's development in general, and that is that it's developed by Nintendo EAD, which is the big development studio that makes all the Marios, which obviously sell much better than Pikmin. I showed my grandmother a picture of Mario and she said, "I know who that is, dear." Then I showed her a picture of a blue Pikmin and she told me to kill myself. Mario is a bigger franchise and Nintendo would obviously want to prioritize this, so how will Nintendo solve this dilemma? Mr. Miyamoto, we need a Mario game for the Switch too, look at our projected sales. How about getting back to work on that Pikmin game before I make your wages? How about we outsource this game to another studio so they can work on it and we can keep working on Mario? That's a good idea. Your bonus is found media. Now, I know this might sound like some nonsensical solution I'm pulling out of thin air, but it is actually likely. Pikmin 3 Deluxe and Pikmin 4 were co-developed by a studio known as 8ting, and for both games they did a hefty sum of the work, so it's likely future Pikmin games could be passed down to them with mild supervision from Nintendo, and we will probably see this with Pikmin 5. If this happens, it will probably be a big switch up, even if they have worked on Pikmin 3 Deluxe and 4. Whether this will be a good change or a bad change gameplay-wise, we'll have to see what happens. But it will definitely be beneficial for release times, as it won't have to squeeze in with Nintendo's mega hits. Those are my predictions for most of the release schedule stuff, and we can shift into mostly gameplay now. Pikmin 5 is almost certainly going to be released on the upcoming Switch 2, as it would make zero sense for it to be released on anything else. One of the new features of the Switch 2 that has been shown both in the trailer and in some patents is that the Joy-Cons can be used similarly to computer mice. Now this would probably be hard to work in naturally for most games, but one genre it would excel in is real-time strategy games. And as we know, Pikmin is a very malformed RTS, and the mouse controls would just be an obvious fit. The mouse would definitely be used for aiming the cursor and would definitely be a control option. I fully believe this will happen. They're going to need games with mouse support to push the new gimmicks of the Switch 2, and this is basically a free one. I see it being a similar situation to Pikmin 3 on the Wii U, where the second screen was used excellently for that game, while most others use it in a rather subpar manner, or didn't use it at all. I don't think the game will be solely mouse controlled. I do see the traditional GameCube and pointer controls make a return, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pikmin 5 tries to push the mouse controls more. If Nintendo doesn't do this, I won't be happy. I'll go down to their headquarters and leave 500 real mice roam free in the building. It's just an overall good idea. There is also Pikmin 5's gameplay style. Each Pikmin game is pretty different from each other while still following the overall core of Pikmin, and I feel that Pikmin 5 is highly likely to be a pretty experimental entry in the Pikmin series. Pikmin 4 stuck close to the series' roots. It didn't actually introduce that much aside from things like oatchi. This was probably done to attempt to appeal to older fans somewhat, as they probably didn't want to shake up the formula that much, considering it had been a good while since the last game. However, now that Pikmin 4 has stayed traditional and all 4 mainline games will be playable on the Switch too, Pikmin 5 will probably do something big, as if it's overly similar to the previous entry and the other 3 games on Switch, it might come off as stale to the average consumer. Pikmin 5 is going to have to stand out if it doesn't want to blend in and make some people just stick with the Pikmin games they may already own. Going off this, I'd say caves from 2 and 4 probably will not be present in Pikmin 5, and that the game will slightly lean towards Pikmin 1 and 3's style, but with many new twists. In fact, it may even divide the games further by basically being in its own style. What would this style be like? I don't know yet, as we haven't seen the game, but Nintendo does seem to be leaning towards more open world style games as of late, especially with Zelda and Pokemon, which isn't technically Nintendo, but it's not the fucking Ouya, is it? There's a good chance Pikmin 5 might lean towards this and just have a giant map which would be several areas concatenated into one, and would probably evolve off of Pikmin 4's areas where there were several landing bases. If they had a big map with various landing bases that each acted as their own mini area, this could work, as long as they avoid the usual vices open world games fall into, such as having the open world feel more like an empty open field and it feels less like the character is going through a well designed level and instead feels like they're going out bush drinking. This isn't certain for Pikmin 5, but is probably the most likely idea. I'd probably be cautiously optimistic if something like this were to happen for Pikmin 5, as while it could be executed greatly and be a good twist to the formula, there's also several places that this could go completely wrong. We discussed Pikmin 5's potential big twist, but what about Pikmin 4's big twist, which was oatchi? Pikmin 4 introduced the rather polarizing dogs, which was a big part of its marketing and gameplay. Will oatchi return for Pikmin 5? I feel like this one is kind of 50-50 if he'll be in the game or not, both for the same reason, and that is Pikmin 5's marketing. Oatchi has a chance to return as many new fans are familiar with him. Seeing him return could lure people into buying Pikmin 5 again due to the cute dog. On the flip side, oatchi and the dogs returning might make the game blend in with Pikmin 4, and that could potentially hurt the sales of both games. We did discuss how Pikmin 5 will likely be experimental and different, so this could be a Mario situation where a giant character or gimmick is just dropped for the next entry in favor for the next one. If oatchi isn't present in Pikmin 5, that will help it stand out and may even boost the sales of Pikmin 4, as new fans from Pikmin 5 might be lured in by the dog, and as a reminder, Pikmin 4 will be able to be purchased on the same console as Pikmin 5, which yet again would encourage Pikmin 5 to try and stand out. If oatchi is in Pikmin 5, it could potentially dilute both Pikmin 4 and 5, so I'm going to put my chips on Pikmin 5 not having oatchi. And of course, Pikmin 5 wouldn't be a Pikmin game without Pikmin. So what will the Pikmin roster be like? Pikmin 4 had every single type excluding the strange ones such as Bulbmin, and I don't see this happening again for Pikmin 5, at least for the main campaign. One of the biggest advertising gimmicks for every Pikmin game is the new Pikmin. It's kinda standard now that there's 2 new types every game, and if that happens for Pikmin 5 along with every pre-existing type still being there, that's 11 types in one game, which will be an absolute nightmare to play with and for the developers to balance and design levels around. So it's most likely getting trimmed down. If they had to cut the fat, I'd say Glow, Rock, Winged, and Purple Pikmin are most likely to get chopped. Purple's Rocks and Winged weren't too important in Pikmin 4, and they are present in several games available on the Switch, so I'd say they will be gone. And Glow Pikmin were mostly exclusive to Pikmin 4's night levels, and if they are not returning in Pikmin 5, Glow Pikmin wouldn't really have much of a purpose. The most likely of these to get cut is the Winged Pikmin, which have consistently shown themselves to be pretty hard to mix in well with the other types. They were too good in Pikmin 3 and cheese basically the whole game, and Pikmin 4's attempts to nerf them just made them absolutely useless. There's also the potential that the roster will be cut back all the way down to just the primary tree Pikmin from Pikmin 1, along with the 2 new types. Which isn't the most likely, but I still see it potentially happening. My final idea for the roster is more wild, but would make for a big twist for Pikmin 5, and that is Pikmin Transformation. Pikmin 4 had item and dog upgrades, but what if Pikmin 5 had you upgrade the Pikmin? My main idea for this would be you would either have only the original 3 primary Pikmin, or just one monotype grey Pikmin that has no benefits, and you would be able to kind of splice them into new types with abilities and stuff. You could upgrade a Pikmin to be cracked at combat, but there would also be drawbacks, like he'd be slow and weak and dies in seconds to hazards. This is probably the most unsubstantiated idea in this video, but it's not entirely out of the question. Speaking of Pikmin, what will the new ones be like? It's hard to piece together information right now because we haven't seen the game, but I do have one idea for a Pikmin that I'm fairly confident in. We're gonna have to pull out All Reliable, which is the 2014 Seminar Notebook. This contains a page of unused Pikmin designs for Pikmin 3, however not all of these are exactly unused. We can see the Rock and Wing Pikmin, which were used in the final game, and if you look around we can see an early concept of Glow Pikmin from Pikmin 4. Look even further, you see this weird Bulbman thing that is peacefully following the captain and helping him cross water, and that is a very early concept of what would become oatchi. It's clear that Nintendo still recycles ideas from this notebook. And I feel like what they're going to recycle next are these Bean Pikmin. One of their abilities was to join their bodies together to make structures such as bridges, and considering Pikmin 4 leaned into levels becoming more vertical, these guys could show up. I'd see them being the efficiency Pikmin. They'd be bang average at combat and have no hazard immunities, but they would be great at tasks such as building sticks and breaking down walls, doing it very fast along with their ability to form structures. Unfortunately, if they do show up, they probably won't have their lovely design here, as Nintendo tends to change the designs from the original sketchbook, and they probably will not be green as Glow Pikmin have taken that color. Speaking of colors, it's highly likely that we will see an orange Pikmin in Pikmin 5, as Nintendo is exhausting the pool of colors at this point, and orange has been speculated since Pikmin 3. If there isn't any orange colored Pikmin in Pikmin 5, I'm just going to assume everyone at Nintendo hates the color orange. Now those are the most concrete predictions for Pikmin 5, I do see a lot of these being likely, but now that we've done most of the logical ones, let's go through some of the wacky, zany, crazy oddballs ones. I would not be surprised if the next 2 didn't happen at all, these are just kind of random predictions. First of all, I mentioned the Bean Pikmin, but I never mentioned that their notes state that they are parasitic. It wasn't relevant to my idea for them, but it is for this one. The Bulbmen are stated to be parasitic Pikmin living inside a Bulborb, and Pikmin 4 has weird unused parameters, such as Gensei Control, which translates to enemy control. What if in Pikmin 5 we actually see the parasitic Pikmin and they could take control of enemies, leading to several little Bulbman-like creatures? This would be cool for everyone except the developers. This would have to be highly curated and tested and stuff, but it could happen. This would probably need caves, which I already predicted Pikmin 5 won't have, so I don't see this happening at all, especially due to the sheer amount of work you would need to implement it, even if you do plan around it and try to cut back on the amount of work as much as possible. There's also the highly suggested idea of online battles. These would be great, but yet again, a lot of work they might not want to go through, and there would also be a lot of technical issues trying to get this to work. If we ever do get online battles, I'd say it won't be in a mainline Pikmin game and instead be in a fully separate game. This wouldn't be impossible for Pikmin 5, but would be a nightmare to try and juggle with the rest of the game's content, so do not count on there being online battles. Anyways, those are my main predictions for Pikmin 5. We'll have to wait and see if I got anything right in this video. Maybe I was completely wrong and there won't even be a Pikmin 5. They're just gonna make Hey Pikmin sequels for the whole franchise's lifespan. Let me know what you think of these predictions and if you see any of them coming true. And if they do come true, would you actually like them? Be sure to comment your own predictions for Pikmin 5 as well. I'd like to read through them. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe or Nintendo will start removing Pikmin games instead of releasing any new ones.